please find your seats. The official ceremony will begin momentarily. Please ensure you silence all electronic devices. As a reminder for our military guests, today's ceremony is considered an outdoor event. The wear of military headgear and rendering of proper customs and courtesies is required. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Of command ceremony. The Assumption of Command ceremony is rooted in military tradition and symbolizes the passing of command. Today is a rare ceremony in which multiple responsibilities and authorities are transferred through a single Assumption of Command ceremony. Today, Lieutenant General Jerry P. Martinez will assume command of United States Forces Japan and 5th Air Force. The Commander of Troops, Lieutenant Colonel Jason Kidder, will now prepare the formation for arrival of the official party. Please stand for the arrival of the official party. rendering of honors, presentation of colors, singing of the national anthems of Japan and the United States by Airman First Class Alicia Cancel, and remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain Andrew Thornley. Color guard, present the colors.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still
sound, order arms, parade, hit!
Chaplain Andrew Thornley, United States Forces Japan and 5th Air Force Command Chaplain, will now give the invocation.
Good afternoon. I invite you to pray with me. Almighty God, you teach us that life is a series of defining moments, junctures in time that should cause us to pause and ponder the gravity of the hour. O Lord, we believe that this is such a moment. The assumption of command of U.S. Forces Japan and 5th Air Force, two of the most critical organizations of our mutual peace and security, reminds us that every organization, every community, and every nation rises or falls on the right leadership at the right time. The flags of our nation that hang above us also reminds us that though we now live free, freedom continues to have her enemies. And so we stand under these colors, calling upon your holy and all-powerful name to help us, Lord. The liberty in which we stand should not be presumed upon for tomorrow. Faithful and courageous men and women will be needed to ensure air, ground, and sea superiority for our nations, as well as for freedom-loving people around the world. And as we look over this historic hangar, we see those proud defenders of liberty standing before us today. So now, Lord, in your providence, you have blessed these defenders with an able leader, one who is ready to continue that vigilance for freedom. General Martinez is most certainly the man for this great and historic hour of responsibility. So I pray that you would grant him a double portion of your wisdom and your strength as he takes the guide on. I ask as well, Father, that you bless Mrs. Martinez as she, in a very real and dynamic way, also serves this noble cause. Lord, we stand together today, as your word says we should, for two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. If they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. Though one may be overpowered by another, two can withstand him. Please continue to bind our nations together with the unbreakable chain of goodwill and friendship. Father, we have our hopes, but we know our limitations as well. So we call upon the God who knows no limits, who has no boundaries, who has never known defeat, to make General Martinez a faithful and able leader in the cause of liberty. May he and all of us always sense your guidance and your care. Amen.
Please be seated. We would like to recognize our distinguished guests today. Please hold your applause until the end. General Retired Haruhiko Kataoka, Special Advisor to the Minister of Defense, and his wife, Setsuko. Admiral Katsutoshi Kawano, Chief of Staff, Japan Joint Staff. Warrant Officer Toshiaki Miyamai, Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chief of Staff, Japan Joint Staff. General Yoshiyuki Sugiyama, Chief of Staff, Japan Air Self-Defense Force, and his wife, Fumiko. Warrant Officer Katsumi Yamazaki, Senior Enlisted Advisor, Air Staff Office, and his wife, Yuko. Mr. Nobuaki Miyama, Director General, Bureau of Local Cooperation, Ministry of Defense. Mr. Keiichi Ono, Deputy Director General, North American Affairs Bureau, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Lieutenant General Hiroaki Fukue, Commander, Air Defense Command, and his wife, Naomi. Lieutenant General Hiroaki Maehara, Vice Commander, Air Defense Command, and his wife, Kaori. Lieutenant General Sadamasa Oe, Commander, Air Materiel Command, Japan Air Self-Defense Force. Lieutenant General Fumihiro Araki, Commander, Air Development and Test Command, Japan Air Self-Defense Force. Vice Admiral Shigeo Akimoto, Vice Commandant for Operations, Japan Coast Guard. Major General Kizuki Ushijima, Director for Intelligence and Operations, Ground Staff Office. Rear Admiral Tsutomu Shirashirane, Deputy Director General, Administration Department, Maritime Staff Office. The Honorable Hideo Fukushima, Vice Mayor, Fusa City. The Honorable Masaru Fujino, Mayor, Musashi Murayama City. The Honorable Osamu Hayakawa, Vice Mayor, Akishima City. The Honorable Tsuyoshi Kitamura, Vice Mayor, Hamura City. The Honorable Koueman Ishizuka, Mayor, Mizuho Town. The Honorable Yoshiaki Tanaka, Vice Mayor, Tachikawa City. Mr. Christopher Marut, Foreign Policy Advisor to the PACOM Commander. Major General Charles Shiroti, Deputy Commander, United States Forces Japan, and his wife, Joan. Chief Master Sergeant Terrence Green, Senior Enlisted Leader, United States Forces Japan and 5th Air Force, and his wife, Debbie. Rear Admiral Matthew Carter, Commander, Naval Forces Japan. Brigadier General Michael Winkler, Vice Commander, 5th Air Force, and his wife, Heidi. Brigadier General Barry Cornish, Commander, 18th Wing. Chief Master Sergeant Charles Hoffman, Command Chief, 18th Wing. Rear Admiral Brian Hurley, Deputy Commander, 7th Fleet. Other commanders and senior leaders, families and friends, welcome all to today's Assumption of Command. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of United States Pacific Command, Admiral Harris.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up one more time for the band and for the airmen who did such a beautiful rendition of our national anthems. And I want to thank the chaplain for giving my speech. I'm not sure what I'm going to say after that, but thank you very much. Thanks, Major, for that introduction. I know there's a lot of speakers for this ceremony, so I'll get on with it so you all can get on with it. I do want to acknowledge some folks. I won't go through the whole list again, but I want to acknowledge my good friend Admiral Kawano, General Sugiyama, Hokuzono, Saito, and Kataoka, General Shags O'Shaughnessy, Pacific Air Forces Commander. Shags, it's great to share the dais with you. Fellow flag and general officers from Japan and the United States, esteemed members of our consular and diplomatic corps, civic leaders, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's truly my pleasure and honor to welcome Jerry and Kim Martinez to beautiful Japan, and I know that Kim is with us virtually, but she'll be here soon, especially on such an important occasion. Jerry, I'm confident that you'll make the most of this opportunity to lead our joint force and deepen our nation's alliance with Japan. And since you and Shags are proud graduates of the Air Force Academy, I appreciate you both not mentioning the football game last Saturday in Colorado Springs. Folks, I'm mindful of the fact that there are two types of speakers one might encounter in a ceremony like this: those who never stop to think and those who never think to stop. And I'll do my best not to be either. So let me begin by saying again how honored I am to be a part of this ceremony, welcoming a great airman and leader, Lieutenant General Jerry Martinez, to the important task of commanding all U.S. forces in Japan, as well as the mighty and legendary 5th Air Force. We now live in a world where we must think, learn, and fight jointly, and rightfully so. As I look out at the soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen of USFJ, it's important to highlight the degree to which our military has evolved into the most powerful joint fighting force the world has ever seen. But make no mistake about it, today is an Air Force Day. Today we go back to our service roots and take special note of what lies at the very heart of the airman's profession: the exercise of command and the execution of Airpower. This ceremony represents a continuing recognition, indeed celebration, of who we are and what we value as military leaders: the absolute nature of accountability and the art of leadership. Mark Twain once said that few things are harder to put up with than the annoyance of a good example. Today, I'm blessed to have the opportunity to speak about three good examples: Soak Dolan, Chuck Sherrati, and Jerry Martinez. Even though Lieutenant General Dolan departed the pattern a few months ago, I'd be remiss if I didn't highlight just a few of the remarkable accomplishments that occurred on his watch. His leadership while he and Nancy were in Japan was spectacular. A true statesman, Soak ensured that our alliance with Japan remained strong. He worked tirelessly with the Japanese government and Ambassador Kennedy to improve the effectiveness of our Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security. Most notably, he directed negotiations that established meaningful bilateral planning and alliance coordination mechanisms. This important step to operationalize the new defense guidelines, formalize previous ad hoc arrangements, and allow the alliance coordination mechanism to be used during regional crises. And make no mistake about it, these procedures are not paper tigers. They've been tested by North Korea's recent provocative actions. Our alliance remains rock solid. Soak also led negotiations over the high-profile plan to realign some of the U.S. bases in Okinawa. This negotiation resulted in a bilateral agreement to both accelerate the return of U.S. military land to the government of Japan and maintain our critical ability to train our forces on Okinawa. On a deeper level, the Okinawa realignment demonstrates the strength of the U.S.-Japan alliance and our capacity for cooperation and compromise. Soak left Japan in August well prepared to become the Director of Operations on our Joint Staff in the Pentagon. I can think of no better fit for such an important job. Lucky for us, Major General Chuck Sherrati had recently come aboard as a new Deputy Commander, and he stepped up to fill the gap when Soak was called to D.C., which shouldn't come as a surprise because Marines are always ready to step into the breach and answer the call to lead. But this is especially true of Chuck. I knew I could count on him, and under his outstanding leadership, U.S. Forces Japan didn't miss a beat. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Chuck. You made us all proud, and I'm pleased that you'll continue your fine work as a Deputy Commander here. As I alluded to earlier, our Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security with Japan is critical to overall U.S. engagement in the Indo-Asia Pacific region. U.S. Forces Japan derives its mission from this treaty and the resulting presence of over 50,000 U.S. troops stationed throughout Japan. The commander must continuously evaluate the regional security environment and work with the Japanese government and other U.S. agencies. This is no easy task. Defense Secretary Ash Carter has identified 5 strategic and very real global challenges to U.S. security that drive our defense planning and budgeting: North Korea, China, Russia, the Islamic State or ISIL, and Iran. And guess what? 4 of these challenges are resident in this neighborhood. As the only nation to have tested nuclear weapons this century, North Korea stands out as our most immediate threat. Last month's nuclear test, North Korea's largest ever and second this year, follows an unprecedented campaign of provocations, including ballistic missile launches, which Pyongyang claims are intended to serve as delivery vehicles for nuclear weapons, targeting the United States and our allies, Japan and South Korea. I know that there's some debate about the miniaturization advancements made by Pyongyang, but PACOM must be ready to fight tonight. So I take them at their word. I must assume that their claims are true. I know that their aspirations certainly are. So we must consider every possible step to defend the U.S. homeland and defend our allies. That's why I continue to emphasize trilateral cooperation between Japan, South Korea, and the United States. And that's why all nations must continue to rally the international community to loudly condemn North Korea's aberrational behavior and be prepared to counter this challenge. Fortunately, the men and women assigned to U.S. Forces Japan, the U.S. Army Japan, 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force, U.S. Naval Forces Japan, and the 5th Air Force are ready. And Lieutenant General Martinez is about to become their commander. Jerry is coming to us from the Air Mobility Command at Scott Air Force Base in Illinois, where he was the Director of Operations. His training and experience in operating a massive and truly global force of mobility aircraft will enable him to provide us with a fresh look on our work in Japan. I won't read Jerry's bio to you, but I will highlight some of the heavy lifting, pun intended, the heavy lifting jobs he's done to get him to this point. He's not only a command pilot with over 4,000 hours flying our nation's largest aircraft, he's worked with our partners around the world to deepen those relationships. His recent efforts in NATO shows the depth of his knowledge as it relates to strengthening the bonds that make Allied forces interoperable. He's no stranger to our nation's ongoing warfights. He spent time in Afghanistan tackling the tough political military affairs issues that often mean the difference between success and failure of joint and combined military operations. General Martinez knows well how to deepen partnerships and strengthen alliances. Jerry, I'm thrilled to see you take the controls here in Japan. It's telling that we send officers of the highest caliber to command in the Indo-Asia Pacific. It's another indicator of America's commitment to the rebalance in this vital region. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've talked too long. Since it's October already and the Japan series begins in a couple of weeks, I'm reminded of a baseball story where the home team was getting shelled in the first inning. The manager walks out to the dugout and goes directly to the mound, and he takes the ball from the pitcher. The pitcher protests, "Coach, I'm not tired." But the manager, with a practiced eye, says, "Yes, son, I know, but the outfielders certainly are." So for all you outfielders out there, let me close by saying thanks. Chuck, thanks for your outstanding leadership these past couple of months. Jerry, thanks for taking on the awesome responsibility of leading our joint force here in Japan. And finally, to the men and women of U.S. Forces Japan, thanks for everything you do to advance our national interests. What you do on a daily basis matters to the U.S. Pacific Command, to our allies and partners around the region, and to our nation. May God bless the men and women serving our country in harm's way across the globe. May God bless the Martinez and Shirati families, and may God bless Japan and the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Pacific Air Forces, General O'Shaughnessy.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be here with everyone today. And I would like to start by thanking A1C Alicia Cancel for that beautiful rendition of both national anthems and Chaplain Thornley for those inspiring words. And these events don't come together by themselves, and especially when you have weeks and not months to put it together. So let me just say thanks to Brian Adams, the entire team, for putting together this amazing ceremony today. And Admiral Harris, it's an honor to serve on the Joint Force with you, and it's great to be able to share this experience and this special ceremony with you today, so thank you. General Kataoka, Admiral Kawano, General Sugiyama, and so many other senior government representatives and political leaders, fellow flag and general officers, commanders, senior enlisted leaders to include Chief Green, and so many other distinguished visitors. And of course, I can't forget Major General Chuck Shiroti. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to honor both Jerry Martinez and the 5th Air Force and USFJ men and women. And of course, Jerry, it's so good to see you. It's going to be quite an adventure for you. I'm glad to see you sitting up in the stage. I can't wait to see you take those flags. And really, to the most important VIPs that are here today, it's the Airmen of 5th Air Force, and it's the Airmen, Soldiers, Sailors, Marines of USFJ. Thank you for what you do every day. And this particular ceremony is unique because we're missing somebody on this stage, and that's Lieutenant General Dolan. But don't get too excited, because it doesn't mean you get one less speech. We just make ours a little bit longer to fill the void. But I do want to say that this General Dolan's expertise was needed on the Joint Staff, and we couldn't get someone in to get confirmed by Congress as quickly as we needed to, but we've got a bench full of superstars. And so I would echo the words of Admiral Harris in thanking Major General Chuck Cerroti, but I'd also like to thank Major General Harvard Harwood, Brigadier General Jekyll Winkler, and Chief Green for the wingmen that have taken on and filled this void and made it a seamless gap. And it's been nearly 3 months since I took command of PACAF, and my first trip as commander of PACAF was right here to Dakota Air Base and the rest of Japan, because this alliance is so incredibly important to all of us. It's as strong as it's ever been. It's strong from the JASDAF to the USAF, and it's strong from all the joint components. And make no mistake about it, this alliance is made stronger because of you, the airmen of 5th Air Force, and the airmen, soldiers, and sailors, Marines of USFJ. And Jerry, General Martinez, you're about to take the flag of 5th Air Force, and while you've certainly done this before, you've been on the stage and taken flags before, you haven't taken a flag just like the one we're about to give you right over here in 5th Air Force. The Fighting Fifth is the oldest continuously serving numbered Air Force, and it's been on the forefront of nearly every aerial operation in the Pacific since its inception. It's actually been in existence longer than PACAF itself, and from its beginnings in World War II, followed by our engagements in Korea, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, the War on Terror, and the abundant natural disasters throughout the region. 5th Air Force has been there providing every facet of global vigilance, global reach, and global power, wherever and whenever asked. Put another way, the impact the Fighting Fifth and USFJ have had on PACAF, PACOM, and the governments of the United States and Japan have been at the foremost of securing regional peace, stability, and security for this increasingly dynamic part of the world. And the challenges that face Japan and the U.S. here are significant. Whether you consider the increase in belligerent actions from North Korea that fan the flame of regional instability, the assertive actions that lead to increased tensions in the East and South China Seas, or the fact that Japan is located directly on the Ring of Fire, it's safe to say that 5th Air Force has been actively engaged. And earlier this year, when the 6.5 magnitude earthquake struck near the city of Kumamoto, the largest since the Great East Japan earthquake back in 2011, 5th Air Force provided more than 230,000 pounds of supplies to those in need. And on a similar front, the past year witnessed to the first trilateral execution of the U.S. Department of Defense's longest-running humanitarian operation, Operation Christmas Drop. And there, members of the United States Air Force, the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force, and the Royal Australian Air Force flew humanitarian airdrop missions to the islanders of Micronesia. And it's no surprise how well that mission was executed. And these actions of 5th Air Force stretch well beyond humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. We see the employment of every core mission the Air Force has in 5th Air Force. From the F-16s at Massawa and the F-15s at Kadena, air superiority is never in question. From the intel assets of each base and the AWACS at Kadena, both ISR and command and control are synced and always ready whenever and wherever tasked. From the helos, C-130s, C-12s, and KC-135s, we ensure our ability to deliver rapid global mobility no matter the time or place it's needed. And the bottom line is there's few NAVs that touch every core mission in the United States Air Force as effectively as you do, and your contributions as a forward deployed and ready force bring critical capability to Admiral Harris's Joint Force. And it's at a time of increasing importance in this region. And the partnership between the United States Air Force and JASDAS has never been stronger, thanks to the strong leadership of General Sugiyama, Lieutenant General Dolan, Lieutenant General Fukue, and of course, the legacy left by former JASDAF Chiefs of Staffs that are with us today, General Saito, General Hokazuno, and General Kataoka. Nothing highlighted this more than the recent honor I had to join my good friend General Sugiyama at the recent rollout of the first F-35 in Fort Worth, Texas. What an exciting event that was, but most importantly, it demonstrated the advancing capabilities of the JASDAF. And leading an organization as critical as this one requires a dedicated leader and tireless advocate for the airmen under their command. And we're lucky that this leader is right here with us today. Lieutenant General Jerry Martinez is a combat-proven leader with experience in just about every part of the world. And just recently, Jerry comes to us from the Air Mobility Command, where he serves as the Director of Operations, responsible for the procedures directing the world's largest cargo, aeromedical, and air refueling enterprise on the face of the planet. So in a dynamic region where the tyranny of distance is a serious issue, we certainly picked the right commander. And Jerry, welcome to the team. Don and I look forward to building a lasting friendship with you and Kim. And as a commander that's separated by thousands of miles, I'm comforted to know that these airmen are under your command, under your steady hand. And so as I wrap this up, let me emphasize my thanks. First, To all of those that are here making this a special event, thank you. But most importantly, to the airmen of 5th Air Force and the amazing airmen, soldiers, sailors, and Marines who make up USFJ. This is a critical time for both of our nations in the region, and what you do every day, standing side by side with our Japanese allies, makes me optimistic about the future despite the challenging environment we face, because I know we will face these challenges together. And I have no doubt, under the leadership of Lieutenant General Jerry Martinez, we're going to leverage the amazing legacy left behind by Lieutenant General Dolan, and we'll lead the USFJ and the 5th Air Force team to even greater heights. Thank you all very much.
The Assumption of Command ceremony is a military tradition deeply rooted in history, dating back to July 3rd, 1775, when General George Washington drew his sword under an elm tree in Cambridge, Massachusetts, to assume command of the Continental Army. During the American Revolution, military units carried distinctive flags designed to match the color of their uniforms and emblazoned with their unit motto. When soldiers followed their leader into battle, this flag, referred to as the unit colors, provided a highly visible point around which members of the unit could rally. Because of its importance, the colors were used in the earliest change of command ceremonies to symbolize the commander's authority, and that tradition continues today. Chief Master Sergeant Terrence Green, United States Forces Japan and 5th Air Force Senior Enlisted Leader, is the color bearer for today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Assumption of Command ceremony.
Sound, attention.
The passing of the colors signifies the passing of responsibilities from one commander to another. Admiral Harris will now pass the responsibilities of United States Forces Japan to Lieutenant General Martinez. General O'Shaughnessy will now pass the responsibilities of the 5th Air Force to Lieutenant General Martinez. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander, United States Forces Japan and 5th Air Force, Lieutenant General Jerry P. Martinez.
Thank you very much. To all our distinguished visitors, our civic leaders, guests, friends, and teammates, thank you so much for being here today. This is a very special day for me and my family, and I'm very appreciative that you took the time to come spend it and be a part of this with us. I have to begin by saying I'm very honored to be here. I was a very young officer, a young lieutenant the first time I flew into Japan, and I was in awe of this amazing country the second I landed here. I never imagined so many years ago that I would one day stand on this stage and be a part of one of the greatest alliances in the world. I'm really, truly proud to be here today. This is a dream come true assignment for me and my family. Admiral Harris, General O'Shaughnessy, sirs, I thank you both for this opportunity that you have given me. I know that you both deeply respect and admire not only the country of Japan, but its people. Your actions show that every day in the things that you do. Knowing your love for this country and its mission, I pledge to you my best. I will do my best to continue with your vision for this region. I will do my best to keep this alliance as strong as it can possibly be, and I will do my best to ensure that the men and women and their families who proudly serve in your commands, that I do the best to take care of them each and every day. I understand totally that it is a privilege to get to command in Japan, and I want you to know that I take that responsibility serious. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. I'm very grateful. To my fellow airmen in 5th Air Force, know that I will be your Airpower advocate. I love Airpower, I believe in Airpower, and I will be out there every day singing your praises, letting everybody know the great job that you do. My pledge to you is to do my best to get you what you need each and every day to do the mission that you do. And to my teammates from U.S. Forces Japan and its components, you have a very tough job. You have a very important job. Working complex issues across different services and in a bilateral situation is hard to do, but your reputation is outstanding. I've heard so much about you already, and I can't wait to go to work with each and every one of you. And whether you're in U.S. Forces Japan or 5th Air Force, know that I will pledge something that I've pledged every time that I've been a commander, and that is I will do my absolute best to take care of you and your families. I will go to bed every night thinking of what I can do to try to make your lives better. When it was announced some time ago in the United States that I was going to get the opportunity and the privilege to command in Japan, I can't tell you the number of people that came from all over the world, some that I didn't even know, higher rank, lower rank, in the military, out of the military, officer, enlisted, that came to me and said, if you do a tour in Japan, it'll be one of the absolute best tours of your entire military career. And I asked many of them, because I heard it so much, I said, what makes you say that? What makes this assignment so great? And they basically gave me 3 things. One, the mission that we do here is so important. Japan is the foundation for stability and security in the Pacific region. They play a pivotal role on very complicated issues that we face every day in the Pacific region. The trust, the cooperation, the teamwork, and the friendship between the United States and Japan is as strong as any 2 countries that I know of on this planet. People feel value and worth when they come to work here. They know what they do is important. What we do every day is important. The second thing they tell me is that the country is absolutely beautiful. They say it's rich in history and it's rich in culture. Today, my family is watching this from the United States via the internet. My wife, Kim, will be here shortly in a few weeks, and my kids are already making vacation plans and airline tickets to get to Japan as soon as possible to visit. What I know we will do as a family as soon as they get there is we will immerse ourselves in this wonderful culture and start this great experience of living in Japan. And then the third thing that they always tell me is they say, when you meet the people of Japan, you will find that they are some of the nicest people that you will ever meet. Well, what I want to tell all of you is that I've been in the country for less than 24 hours. And in just this literally one day, I've already experienced all 3 of those things. I am so excited to be here and to be in Japan and be a part of this mission. And so, to my friends and my new teammates and my new partners, all from Japan, I want to thank you in advance for your friendship. I want to thank you for the support that you give every day to the United States military and its families. We are a strong alliance. We are a team that will never fail. Together we can do much. Together we can deter aggression. Together we can promote defense cooperation. Together we can be successful in both crisis and contingency. Together we will maintain security. And together we can do great things. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. I look forward to knowing you, and I look forward to working with you. And so as I close today, know that whether you're in 5th Air Force, U.S. Forces Japan, or my new friends from the country of Japan, I want you all to know that each and every day I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your service. I'm proud of the sacrifice that you make for a cause that's bigger than any of us as individuals. I'm proud to be a part of this alliance, and I'm proud to take command of the U.S. forces in Japan. And as of last night, when I landed at Narita Airport, I can now tell the world I'm also proud to say that I live in Japan. God bless all of you. Thank you very much, and I look forward to working with you.
The men and women of United States Forces in Japan will now present their first salute to Lieutenant General Martinez as their commander.
Present home. So I present the command. Sound, order arms, parade, quick!
Ladies and gentlemen, may I please direct your attention to the rear of our ceremony. Staff Sergeant Kenneth R. Sutton from the 374th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron will unveil the 5th Air Force flagship bearing Lieutenant General Martinez's name. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the service songs and remain standing for the departure of the official party.
Sound, attention!
This concludes the Assumption of Command ceremony. Please join us at the Enlisted Club for a short reception to welcome Lieutenant General Martinez. Please place your headsets on your seat before you depart. Thank you.